Peace TV English, the solution for humanity.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والعاقبة للمتقين، ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, welcome to the 19th episode in our series of treasures from the cave. Today, inshallah, we're going to extract some beautiful treasures from the following ayat, 47 through ayah number 29. Just 3 ayat. These 3 ayat, Allah the Almighty will give us a glimpse over what will happen on the day of judgment. And it is better to be acquainted with what will happen in the future, in the hereafter, which is entirely unseen to us, so that you will be mentally prepared. Mentally prepared, which will let you actually prepare yourself physically as well, by avoiding anything which could ruin your future, by refraining yourself from anything that may anger Allah the Almighty, by guarding your tongue, because you know that whatever you utter is recorded, by avoiding hurting people, because that would not be dismissed easily. Everything will be present and presented before you, and everyone will be held accountable for everything. And also to compete with regards to compete with others, and to compete with your own self with regards to piling up wealth of hasanat, of good deeds, in preparation for this day. So the first ayah, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, ayah number 47, Allah the Almighty says, وَيَوْمَ نُسَيِّرُ الْجِبَالَ وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ بَارِزَةً وَحَشَرْنَاهُمْ فَلَمْ نُغَادِرْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. Which means, and on the day of judgment, on the day when we set the mountains in motion, we remove the mountains from the face of the earth. No more mountains. And you see the earth emerging, وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ بَارِزَةً وَحَشَرْنَاهُمْ, and we gather them, we gather every living creature. All of us will be gathered. Those who died millions of years ago, those who died before we were born, and those who will die after us. Everyone from the very first to the very last will be gathered, will be resurrected and gathered. فَلَمْ نُغَادِرْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. We will leave none of them behind. This is what Allah the Almighty says. Then in ayah number 48, He says, وَعُرِضُوا عَلَىٰ رَبِّكَ صَفًّا لَقَدْ جِئْتُمُونَا كَمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ بَلْ زَعَمْتُمْ أَن لَّن نَّجْعَلَ لَكُم مَّوْعِدًا. After the resurrection and after the gathering, they will be displayed in one row, all before Allah the Almighty. They will be presented before your Lord in a row. You've come to us. Allah the Almighty will address His creatures, will address all of us, and will address those who denied resurrection, those who denied life after death, those who did not believe in the hereafter. So Allah the Almighty will tell them, لَقَدْ جِئْتُمُونَا كَمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. Indeed, you've come back to us as we created you in the first place, if you remember. بَلْ زَعَمْتُمْ أَن لَّن نَّجْعَلَ لَكُم مَّوْعِدًا. It is you who claim that we will not bring you back, we will not resurrect you. That's why Allah the Almighty will confront them with their denial by saying that, although you claimed, we would not set a meeting for you. So Allah is addressing in this segment those who do not believe in the hereafter, those who do not believe in life after death and in reckoning. And in the third ayah, Allah the Almighty said, ووضع الكتاب فترى المجرمين مشفقين مما فيه ويقولون يا ويلتنا ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا ولا يظلم ربك أحدا. Al-Kitab is a record of our deeds. It will be laid open for each and every one of us. فَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُشْفِقِينَ مِمَّا فِيهِ. The criminals and the wicked, you will see them on the day, they will be fearful of the contents of the records, of their books. And they will say, يَا وَيْلَتَنَا, woe to us, مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ, what is with this book that leaves nothing, small or big, everything is recorded. Even whatever we uttered, even whatever we said without paying attention, everything is recorded. Every action and every saying is all recorded. But it has enumerated it. They will find everything they have done present in their books, in their records. And Allah the Almighty says, and your Lord does not wrong anyone an art. وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. So the connection between the set of ayat and the previous ayat in which Allah the Almighty explained the insignificance of this present life and its transient nature and its shortness, then Allah the Almighty is bringing to our attention the importance and the significance of preparing for the everlasting life. If you remember, he initially said, وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتُ خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا وَخَيْرٌ آمَلًا. He guided us to increase doing the everlasting remaining virtuous deeds because that will benefit us in the hereafter. Then Allah the Almighty also is referring to what we mentioned before, we will be looking at all the time in Surah Al-Kahf, number 28. That superiority is not for the wealthy or the rich because they are rich. Superiority will be for the righteous ones, whether they happen to be rich or poor. Again, it's telling the Meccan pagans, the chieftains, and those who requested not to be treated like the poor companions. If you want us to listen to you, appoint for us a private meeting. We cannot sit with our workers. We cannot hang around with our slaves. We cannot be dealt with the same. We're not equal. So Allah the Almighty is telling us in this ayat, on the day of judgment, what matters is the contents of your record, of your book. So Bilal ibn Rabah will be superior to hundreds or thousands of you who are very wealthy and very rich, not because of wealth or poverty, rather because of his righteousness. Suhaib al-Rumay will be better than all of you. Salman al-Farisi will be better than all of you. So this is the importance of narrating these ayat after mentioning in the previous set of ayat the insignificance of the life of this present life. So Allah the Almighty says in the set of the three ayat, ayah number 47, that on the day of judgment, نُسَيِّرُ الْجِبَالِ. What is the benefit of the mountains? The mountains are stabilizing the earth. الْجِبَالَ رَوَاسِي الْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا, as Allah stated in the Quran. He created the mountains in order to maintain the stability of the earth. But on the day of judgment, there is no need for the mountains because Allah the Almighty is going to cause a major earthquake that will demolish everything and everything will vanish. That's why he said in Surah Taha, chapter number 20, verse number 105, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْجِبَالِ. They ask you, O Muhammad, about the mountains. فَقُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا. Say, my Lord will blast them and scatter them as particles of dust. When? On the day. There is no need for the mountains anymore. And in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, in 2 verses 5 and 6, Surah Al-Waqi'ah, chapter number 56. Allah the Almighty says, وَبُسَّتِ الْجِبَالُ بَسًّا فَكَانَتْ هَبَاءً مُنبَثًّا. Because Al-Waqi'ah is one of the names of the Day of Judgment. It is a big calamity. It is the biggest calamity. So on that day, إِذَا وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةِ, one of the things which will take place on the day, بُسَّتِ الْجِبَالُ بَسًّا, the mountains will be powdered to dust, will be blown away. فَكَانَتْ هَبَاءً مُنْبَثًّا, and it will become like floating dust particles. In Surah Al-Qari'ah, and again Al-Qari'ah is one of the names of the Day of Judgment. It reflects the nature of this calamity, Al-Qari'ah, which will frighten people. It's a very loud scream. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ. The mountains will be like shredded wool. You sure? Those mountains, the rocks, the stones, the solid mountains will be blown away, turned into powder, into dust, into shredded wool, like the clouds. You know, those of you who fly, when the flight is ascending into higher levels, it goes through the clouds. When the flight is descending, it goes through the clouds. So there is no resistance when the flight is going through the clouds, because it is like particles. But the bond between its particles is very weak and fragile. That's why the plane penetrates it easily. So the mountains on the Day of Judgment will be like the clouds, moving in motion with ease, turning into shredded wool, into powder, into dust, as it's stated in many ayat. In Surah Al-Ma'arij, ayah number 8 and ayah number 9, chapter number 70, Allah the Almighty says, يَوْمَ تَكُونُ السَّمَاءُ كَالْمُهْلِ وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ. On that day, the mountains will be like shredded wool, which indicates that things will change. This beautiful life will be over. These nice neighborhoods, fancy houses, luxurious cars, skyscrapers, yachts, all of that will be demolished. وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ بَارِزَةً, and the earth will emerge one single flat plain. No one can hide, no buildings, no mountains, no ups and downs. It's all one single flat plain, so that people will be gathered and no one will be hiding, because there is no place for hiding. Allah the Almighty stated in Surah Taha, in ayah number 106 and 107, after he said about the mountains, فَقُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّ نَسْفًا فَأَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا لَا تَرَى فِيهَا عِوَجًا وَلَا أَمْتًا. Allah the Almighty will blow the mountains away, and the earth will be level, smooth, plain. There is no crookedness, nor curves on earth. One flat plain, ready for the gathering. Inshallah, we'll take a short break and we'll continue with the explanation of these verses after a couple minutes. Please stay tuned.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Hussein Hamid Hassan. You are watching Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Dr. Lawrence Brown.
They all believe in one God and the prophets of God. Then where is the difference? Which is the religion of truth? Which is the right path? Which is the true revelation? Travel the chain of revelation with me, and let's find the true religion of God.
Join Dr. Lawrence Brown in Interfaith Issues every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. and repeat telecast at 2 a.m. India on Peace TV.
Where truth is hidden, misleading quotations create confusion. Where truth is hidden, lack of knowledge and wisdom cause upheaval and commotion. Where truth is hidden, manipulated scriptures, and twisted facts emerge. This very hidden truth creates false propaganda, mayhem, chaos, disorder, and turmoil in our lives and the world order. But is there anyone with courage and wisdom? What is the truth, and who has the courage to expose it? Because it's your right to know the truth.
Watch truth prevail and lies perish in Truth Exposed by Dr. Zakir Naik, next on Peace TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Now we're living in the mood of imagining what will take place on the Day of Judgment. And in Surah Hud, chapter number 11, ayah number 103, Allah the Almighty said, ذَلِكَ يَوْمٌ مَجْمُوعٌ لَهُ النَّاسُ وَذَلِكَ يَوْمٌ مَشْهُودٌ. That day is a day on which people will be gathered and it will be witnessed by everyone. No one will be absent under any circumstances. In the hadith, Aisha radiallahu anha said she heard the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, saying, يُحْشَرُ النَّاسُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ حُفَاةً عُرَاةً غُرْلًا. Hufatan means barefooted. Uratan means naked. Ghurlan means uncircumcised. Which means that on the Day of Judgment, all mankind from Adam to the last human being who lived on earth will be resurrected, then gathered in a single plane, flat, no mountains, no crookedness, no curves, no places for hiding. And they will be all in the following condition: barefooted. Barefooted, I know that you used to like those expensive shoes, Echo, Timberland, Nike shoes, and all of that. $100 pair of shoes, $200, $300. It doesn't matter what kind of shoes you used to wear in this life. On the day, everyone will be barefooted. What about the name brand clothes? The set, $1,000, $2,000. What about the necklace? What about the adornment? What about the jewelry? What about your very expensive watch? You're not gonna need any of that. يُحْشَرُ النَّاسُ حُفَاةً. People will be resurrected and will be gathered حُفَاةً, barefooted. عُرَاةً, naked. غُرْلًا, uncircumcised. يعني as the same day they were born. Even if somebody was circumcised, that piece of skin, the foreskin which was cut off, will be restored. You will be in the same image that you were born, you were created the first time. This is to show you how accurate is resurrection. Nothing will be left from you for a reason or another. Everything will be brought back. Aisha radiallahu anha, the modest mother of the believers, hearing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that people will be resurrected uratan, naked. She said, Ya Rasulullah, and she covered her face, وَيَنْظُرُ بَعْضُهُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ. And men and women will be looking at each other and nudity of each other. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ya Aisha, al-amru ashaddu min an yanzura ba'duhum ila ba'd. On that day, no one would ever think about looking at the nudity of others, because everyone will be worried about something more dangerous, more important, which is the reckoning, which is the hisab, which is the fate of each and every one. No one will be worried about looking at any awrah or concerned about anything. Only one thing: where will I end up? What will be my fate? Allah the Almighty said in the Quran, لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ يُغْنِي. Everyone will have his own affair, his own worries, which will be basically what will be their fate. And number 48, وَعُرِضُوا عَلَى رَبِّكَ صَفًّا لَقَدْ جِئْتُمُونَا كَمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ بَلْ زَعَمْتُمْ أَلَّن نَّجْعَلَ لَكُمْ مَوْعِدًا. In Surah Al-Fajr, Allah the Almighty also stated how people will line up on the Day of Judgment. He said, وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. And your Lord comes with the angels in rows. Even the angels will be lining up in rows. And Allah the Almighty said also in Surah Al-An'am, giving us a glimpse over what will happen on that day. وَلَقَدْ جِئْتُمُونَا فُرَادًا كَمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَتَرَكْتُمْ مَا خَوَّلْنَاكُمْ وَرَاءَ ظُهُورِكُمْ. And indeed you've come to us singles, as we created you in the first time. When you came out of the womb of your mother, you were by yourself, alone. And when you will be resurrected, you will be alone, without wealth, without companions, without anything else, as we created you the first time. You have left behind all that which we have bestowed upon you. وَتَرَكْتُمْ مَا خَوَّلْنَاكُمْ وَرَاءَ ظُهُورِكُمْ. You left everything behind you. In life, we have seen a few examples of that. Couple times in the United States, whenever there is a serious warning against a hurricane or tornado, such as the recent, a few years ago, we had Hurricane Rita and Hurricane Katrina. And I was living in the area. I was living in Texas. Then there was a mandatory evacuation by the government. Everyone has to leave because they're expecting that the hurricane will demolish all the houses and everything. So for life safety, everybody was ordered to evacuate. Leave behind literally everything. All what you need is just a vehicle, so that you and your family will fit in one vehicle, because there is a gas shortage, there is an oil shortage, there is a water shortage, and people were bumper to bumper, cars were bumper to bumper, until bumper to bumper for hundreds of miles. Everyone, rich and poor, all what they have is a single vehicle. Perhaps they left in the house 3, 4, or 5 more vehicles. Mercedes, BM, SUV, Land Cruiser. We don't need any of that. You just need a big car to take the whole family. I need some water, and if there is any food or bread. And you need enough gas, because the journey is long and you don't know whether you will find a gas station. And you're leaving behind, some people paid for this couch 10 grand. Can you take it with you? There is no room. What am I going to do with it? How can I take it? Oh, I just bought the washer and the dryer. I just bought this car. I just painted the house. You take nothing, because what is important is to spare your life. This is in the dunya. This is in our worldly life. People have to abandon their valuables in order to spare their lives. What about in the hereafter? No one would inquire about anything. Rather, everybody will say, نفسي نفسي لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه. I have witnessed also an earthquake, and we were at college, at school. Then it was around noontime or afternoon. People have to run. They got out of the bathrooms, out of the shower place. Some people were in the nude. And they ran because the buildings were falling apart. In order to save your life, you don't worry about putting on any clothes, because this is a matter of life or death. And this is in life. What about it whenever it is the hereafter? And it's a matter of heaven or hell. So the people will find whatever they have done or said presented before them. ووضع الكتاب فترى المجرمين مشفقين مما فيه. When the record will be laid open, and everyone will see their deeds, good or bad, but the criminals will be very fearful, and they'll say, what is it with this book? It doesn't leave anything, whether it's small or big, it's all recorded. But it's your deeds. So if you wish now, fill up your record with good deeds, and if you wish, fill it up with bad deeds. ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. In Surah Qaf, Allah says, nothing that you utter, but it will be recorded by the 2 angels whose description, by the way, Raqib and Atid is not the name of one angel and the other. No, Raqib and Atid is the description of both angels. So the angel on the right shoulder is Raqib and Atid, and the angel on the left shoulder is also Raqib and Atid. Yani always present, watchful, very honest, recording whatever you do with accuracy, with a maximum accuracy. Whatever you do, whatever you say, if this is the case, and if we all realize that, then we're going to be extra cautious. We're going to be very watchful. We take care of what we say, we take care of what we do, because it is all recorded and it will be our record. So if you like to see it full of good deeds, then do good deeds and refrain from bad deeds. May Allah the Almighty grant us salvation on the Day of Judgment. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. And until next episode, I leave you in the care of Allah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa